1989 Pro Set Football Cards, 10 Most Valuable. It may be hard to imagine now if you weren't involved in the hobby at the time, but 1989 Pro Set football cards were a historic issue. Prior to that time, Topps had been the only gridiron game in town, unless you count the Team Action Fleer issues, for nearly a quarter of a century, and football made up a tiny portion of the overall hobby revenue. Pro Set founder Lud Denny had big ideas though, and he brought slick card production to bear along with even slicker marketing that helped catapult the football card boom in the early 1990s. And while none of the 1989 sets, Topps, Pro Set, fellow newcomer Score, are scarce, they all represent a unique moment in hobby history. And with that in mind, here are the most valuable 1989 Pro Set football cards based on recent eBay sales for cards in PSA 10 condition. Check out our description for a link for the most current list. 1989 Pro Set Barry Sanders Rookie Card, number 494. Was Barry Sanders the greatest running back of all time? The raw counting stats say that honor belongs to Emmitt Smith, and old-timers will tell you it's Jim Brown, hands down. But the 1988 Heisman Trophy winner played for some not-so-great Lions teams and still managed to win 4 rushing titles and pull within a season's worth of work behind Walter Payton's then yardage record before abruptly retiring at 30. The what-ifs surrounding Barry has intrigued collectors for 2 decades, and his Pro Set rookie card is a first-stringer. 1989 Pro Set Marv Levy, number 34. Levy didn't nab his first NFL head coaching gig with the Chiefs until he was 53 in 1978. He stuck around for 5 so-so seasons, guiding the team to just one winning season, 9-7, in 1981, and no playoff appearances. Then he was gone from the NFL scene, though he did coach for the Chicago Blitz for a season in the USFL. But when Bills owner Ralph Wilson fired Hank Bulla midway through the 1986 season, he turned to Levy to turn things around, and so he did. With the help of superstars like Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Bruce Smith, Pete Metzelaars, Andre Reed, and a strong supporting cast, Levy had the Bills back in the playoffs by 1988. 2 years later, and they were in the Super Bowl, and they would return each of the 3 years after that. It hardly seems to matter now that the Bills lost all 4 of those big games. This was a great team, and Levy is a Hall of Famer. 1989 Pro Set Michael Irvin, rookie card, number 89. After the Dallas Cowboys selected Irvin with their first pick in the 1988 NFL Draft, it took a while for him to settle in as a featured receiver, and controversy followed him like yesterday's bad burritos. In 1991, though, Irvin played 16 games for the first time and led the NFL with 1,523 yards receiving. Dallas made the playoffs that season and would go on to run off 3 titles from 1992 through 1995. Irvin had on and off problems outside the lines and retired at 33, but he kept it all together well enough to catch 750 balls for nearly 12,000 yards, and he made the Hall of Fame cut in 2007. 1989 Pro Set Dion Sanders rookie card, number 486. Neon Dion was the other two-sport athlete, the one who rode Bo Jackson's coattails in the What's Possible sweepstakes. But while Bo may have had more overall combined talent in baseball and football, Sanders avoided the devastating injuries that curtailed Bo's promise and crafted a long career. And by focusing on the NFL in the long run, Dion turned himself into a Hall of Fame cornerback. 1989 Pro Set Troy Aikman rookie card, number 490. Aikman inherited a woeful Cowboys team in 1989, and even the hotshot rookie couldn't save them from a 1-15 record that fall. Within a couple of seasons, though, Aikman had teamed up with head coach Jimmy Johnson and offensive coordinator Norv Turner to figure out how to take full advantage of big weapons like Irvin, Smith, Darryl Johnston, Alvin Harper, and Jay Novacek. The result was a 4-year run that had dynasty written all over it and a place in Canton for Aikman. 1989 Pro Set Thurman Thomas rookie card, number 32. Thomas was the workhorse of those great Bills offenses in the early 1990s, routinely topping 270 carries per season and surpassing 300 twice, including a league-leading 355 in 1993. The man could also catch the ball, as evidenced by his 472 grabs for 4,458 yards and 23 receiving touchdowns over his career. It all added up to legend status for Thomas in Buffalo, not to mention a Hall of Fame bust. 1989 Pro Set, Bo Jackson, number 185. Jackson was the most tantalizing athlete most modern fans have ever seen. The man could do just about everything on the football field, and do it well. But he could also do plenty of things on the diamond, with all sorts of in-the-rough baseball skills. And Jackson made it work in both for a while, until that hit pointer suffered with the Raiders killed his football career and curtailed his baseball progress. No matter how far he got in fulfilling his giant promise, though, Bo never really fades completely from the hobby limelight. 1989 Pro Set, Joe Montana, number 381. A few years after this card was issued, Montana was gone to the Kansas City Chiefs, with Steve Young taking over the pocket in San Francisco. But in 1989, Montana was still the man, and he led the 49ers to their 4th Super Bowl title. While others have surpassed Montana in sheer numbers and even rings, thanks to Tom Brady, he will always be a football deity. 1989 Pro Set, Derrick Thomas, rookie card, number 498. In 11 seasons with the Kansas City Chiefs, Thomas was a Pro Bowler 9 times and collected first-team All-Pro honors twice. He also amassed 126.5 sacks, with a combination of speed, size, and strength that opposing O-lines found tough to combat. Sadly, Thomas passed away as a result of injuries he suffered in a January 2000 car accident, but he retains his stature in the hobby even though his story was cut short. 1989 Pro Set, Steve Atwater, rookie card, number 492. The Broncos took Atwater with their first pick, 20th overall, in the 1989 NFL Draft, and plugged him right into their defensive backfield. He contributed 3 interceptions that rookie season to help Denver all the way to the Super Bowl, where the Niners trounced them 55-10. Atwater spent most of the 90s picking Pro Bowl and All-Pro honors before winning 2 rings with the Broncos in 1997 and 1998. Like our video? Then like our video and subscribe to our channel. waxpackgods.com